Good Friday, everybody. Arm day here at Iron Heaven in good old Omaha, Nebraska. A little frigid out today, so we're going to heat it up with some extremities. So biceps is one of the body parts, and triceps as well, that has fallen out of favor for a lot of people who train, right? Because for some reason, everyone says, well, arm training is boring and all the other stuff is fun. And I'm like, a lot of people have shitty arms these days, right? So today, we're going to focus on getting a lot of good arm work in. We're going to watch the volume because, there have been training days where we have to account for the volume of those days as well. And plus, I like for it to be low volume right now. Try to emphasize a little bit higher reps. So from a rep standpoint, it may be a higher volume, but from an overall set standpoint, it's going to be low, if I'm making any sense. If I'm not, please let me know. So we're going to start off with triceps. Always start off with tricep press downs, and then we move on to other exercises that'll help us build and develop the arms. So let's go. All right, Friday is big arm day in 402. Customary way that we start out. This is almost like how I start out with hamstrings. Do a contraction exercise like this one. This is the tricep press down with a camper bar. I know a lot of people say you should use the ropes, but the camper bar has never done me wrong, and I'll continue to use it whenever I have access to it. So I had access to it this morning and went ahead and did it. Reps for these, if you're going to do them, or any type of press down, really. I'm not a big fan of heavy press downs, and if the press downs are heavy, like I was a plate away from doing the entire stack, they should still be in the 15 to 20 rep range. Especially now at 42, doing direct tricep work, I have to pick my movements very carefully for the simple fact that it does affect elbow health, and your elbows are something you want to kind of look out for, which is why I don't do any type of free weight extension, but we'll get to that in a minute. So your tricep press downs, whether you're doing with a rope, short bar, camper bar, whatever, the volume and reps needs to be up there, and the overall sets you can mess around and be pretty low with. As you can see, I just did a drop set to go ahead and fill that blood up with more muscle, warm that elbow up, because it was in the single digits with a wind chill in the negatives here in Omaha this morning. So warming up is key, and making sure I get a lot of blood into the muscle is key. Will I be super fatigued by the next movement? Yes, but also at the same time, that's kind of what I'm aiming for, so I don't have to use a high amount of load. And we'll see when I get to the next exercise. Just a lot of high load should not have been used, or wasn't used rather, and was used in a manner in which it'll make the triceps grow and make the elbows not hurt. So this was a hybrid. Okay, so I'm gonna rewind. This was supposed to be a close grip bench press. I didn't set the bench up correctly, so instead, it's kind of become a JM press extension skull crusher kind of thing. It's weird, but it really hit my triceps really hard. The problem is my right shoulder didn't really work like I wanted to. So a couple of key points here. You notice that my elbows are moving out. That's by design, but they're also having a slight tuck to them. The way that the bar is set up is that it's right above the bridge of my nose. So every rep that I'm doing, everything that I'm concentrating on is trying to get that bar to move off of my head, really. So we only stuck with 185 on these. Light, but again, my shoulder was bothering me, so it is what it is. I think they're JM presses, not sure. Leave a comment and let me know. Next things next, we have the Nautilus Dip Machine. Look, we just go for high reps on here. A couple of drop sets, really just pump the tricep up with some blood. The other machine that I was going to use after this was taken, so we went ahead and went with an old standby. But when it comes to an exercise like this, especially when you're talking tricep dip, you don't want it so heavy that your chest takes over. Chest is going to be hit a little bit during this movement, but even still, you want to make sure that your load is properly selected, so you can get the most bang for your buck out of the set that you're performing. A lot of guys, myself included, we tend to go heavy and we drop it below a certain rep range. Well, that certain rep range of 4 to 6 is not helping us. We should never really go below 5. And with machines like the Tricep Dip, I have the ability to be able to really push until failure and just really pump that blood up and really pump that muscle up with some blood. Extensions, I know I said I didn't do them. However, the caveat is that these are in a machine, they're guided, and I can work around the pain. I used to be one of those guys, oh, if you use a machine, you're kind of a pussy. I'm not that guy anymore, okay? My shoulder really could not take it this morning. Something's wrong with my right shoulder where I have to get it released next week. But once that happens, we'll look at adding a little bit more weight. Cluster sets on extensions. My shoulder was not really cooperating with me this morning, so instead of doing another heavy set or moderately heavy set for a set of 10 to 12, I wanted the reps up there, so I ended up doing a cluster, 4 or 6 sets of 4 reps, alternating in between or alternating back and forth, keeping the work to rest ratio pretty high, more work, less rest. Cluster sets are really good for arms, so I had no problem doing it. Now we're moving on to biceps, and not a whole lot here, right? Because we have a density day on Sunday, and there's going to be some pull work in there, so back is going to be involved. And although arms can quickly recover from any work that you kind of throw at it, you don't want to throw a ton of work at it when you have a bigger body part you need to train later on. So 2 exercises here. We're going to do the preacher curls, and then we're going to go to stride curls, and that'll be it. So we're going to work really hard and get the fuck out. Now that triceps are over, we're going to move to the showcase muscle of the arm, the bicep. I love this machine right here. If you have a machine or anything similar, something that can give you a really good strong contraction without causing too much pain in the joint, this is one of those machines. The way that your arm is set up, you can really lean into it and get a good squeeze. You're going to always slowly release it to about 3 seconds eccentric. And man, you're just gonna blow up. Like I'm getting hyped just thinking about it, right? And the funny thing about this is that with any type of machine curl, especially this, if you have it, you're able to put yourself through so much punishment in an effort to get those big arms, those big classic arms that we've seen in the 70s, in the 80s too. Like today, you don't see that arm development that just makes you go, wow. And it's not achieved all the time by dumbbells and barbells. Like they obviously play a role. Everything that we have inside the gym plays a role. But also at the same time, you also have to understand that the tools of the day really depends upon what you're trying to accomplish. And right here, I'm trying to have max pump, max tension. So as you can see, I'm doing a cluster set on this, but I'm also holding the other handle because I want tension on the bicep while I'm resting it for the resting hand. And that's going to increase the work to rest ratio. All right. Quick story on arms. Right. Back in the day, I was reading Flex magazine, and 2 bodybuilders who I immensely respect, Don Long and Vince Taylor, they were like, we don't use a lot of free weights with our arm training. We use a lot of cables, we use a lot of drop sets. And it didn't dawn on me until a couple of years ago that they were actually right. Listen to me. If you don't take anything else away from this video, I want you to take this away. Arms do not respond super well to heavy low rep training. This is a pumping muscle just much like the shoulder is. You don't have to use a ton of heavy weight. You need concentration, you need hydration. Well, you need that for everything in life, but you need concentration, you need hydration, and you need to learn how to make sure you keep all the pressure on the muscle with whatever you're moving your training with. And speaking of pressure on the muscle, this is another good exercise that I love to do. This is the stride curl. As you can see, I have weight on the top peg and on the middle peg. On the middle peg is more of an all-around type of tension. Your entire bicep is going to be smashed. With 25 up top, you're really emphasizing the negative portion, right? Because when you release that weight, that top peg is bearing down. So what I did is I added another 25, and I just really wanted to go to town. But this is a great exercise. Guys, if you have access to this, it's known as Prime Fitness USA right now, but if you have access to this, if you have the ability to use this machine, do everything under the sun on it. I've done cluster sets, I've done giant sets, I've done straight sets, I've done super sets, I've done tri sets, all on this machine, all on the hammer curl machine. Like, guys, it is crazy. It is crazy how much you can do with this machine. I know a lot of people are doing CAD sets, and they're all like, Coach Kasim says this and this and another, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, it's great, it's cool, I get it, but also at the same time, you are there to train really hard. I'm having this motto this year made into a shirt, and it's just called "Get in, work hard, and leave." You just want to work hard for arms, right? You just want to work really, really fucking hard to get a nice, good set of arms. And, honestly, it's missing. It's missing a lot. We're listing a lot of intensity techniques. So I'm hoping to bring that back. Arms has always been something that came pretty easily for me. So I'm happy to get back to training them again with a little bit more heft on me. And hopefully I can make it. I'm not too sure. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you all. Please, please, please have a wonderful weekend. We'll hit you back next week. May film density day, may not, but if I do, you'll be the first ones to see. You have a good one.